नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशत दुष्टारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय 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 राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय। राधा रमन हरि गोविंद जय जय। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गिरधारी राधे। जय राधा गिरधारी राधे। जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधे। जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधे। जय राधा रस बिहारी राधे। जय राधा रस बिहारी राधे। जय राधा मदन मोहन राधे। जय राधा मदन मोहन राधे। जय राधा कुंज बिहारी राधे। जय राधा कुंज बिहारी राधे। जय राधा बांके बिहारी राधे। जय राधा बांके बिहारी राधे। जय राधा माधव राधे। जय राधा माधव राधे। जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ, जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी, नयन पथगामी भव तुम। जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी, नयन पथगामी भव तुम। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव, गुरुदेव गुरुदेव। निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल। निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल। बोले हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन, यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुना तीरवनचारी, यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन, यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुना तीरवनचारी, यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया। भगवतीम् उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Welcome everyone in Bhagavad Gita class. So we are in chapter number 13. So last time we have discussed till sloka number 20. So we'll start from 21. So we'll recite the verses with the translation, and then we'll discuss each followed by Mangalacharna. 13.20. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidhi anadivubhavapi vikaramsha gunamsheva vidhi prakriti sambhavam. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. 13.21. Karya karana kartritve hetuha prakritir uchyate purushah sukha dukhanam bhoktritve hetur uchyate. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. 13.22. Purushah prakristho hi bhunte prakritijan gunam karanam guna sangosya sad asadayo nijanmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the wage of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with material nature. Thus he mates with good and evil among various species. 13.23. Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purusah para. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul. 13.24. Ya evam veti purusham prakritim cha gune saha sarvatha vartamanopi nasa bhuyo bhijayate. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. 13.25. ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचित् आत्मानम् आत्मना अन्ये सांख्येन योगेन कर्म योगेन चापरे. Some perceive the super soul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desires. 13.26. अन्ये त्व एवम् अजानन्तः श्रुत्वा नेभ्य उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. 13.27. Yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam sthavar jangamam क्षेत्र क्षेत्र संयोगात तद विद्धि भरतर्षभ. O chief of the Bharatas, know that whatever you see in existence, both the moving and non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and knower of the field. 13.28. Samam sarveshu bhutesu tishtantam Parameshwaram vinashyatasva vinashyantam yah pashyati sa pashyati. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. 13.29. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahi nastyatmanam atmanam tato yati param gatim. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere, in every living being, does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus, he approaches the transcendental destination. 13.30. प्रकृत्यैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः यः पश्यति तथात्मानम् अकर्तारं स पश्यति. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. 13.31. यदा भूत पृथक् भावम् एकस्थम् अनुपश्यति तत् एव च विस्तारम् ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तदा. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण। Once again, welcome everyone in Bhagavad Gita class. So, we are in chapter number 13, verse number 21. Let's revise what we have seen in the sloka number 20. So, in sloka number 20, Prakritim Purusam Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi Vikaramsha Gunamsheva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavam. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. So, from verse number 13.20 to 26, Lord Krishna explains Prakriti, Purusha and their union. So, we'll see summary of verse number 20 to 26. Krishna answers question number 1 and 2, Prakriti, Purusha and their union. Verse number 20 to 22 talks about Prakriti, Purusha, the Jiva, Purusha, the Jiva, Kshetragya. So Jiva is also known as Kshetragya. And their union, material nature, causes all material changes and effects. So when Prakriti and Purusha unites, all material changes happens. Their effects also happens. And the living entity meets with good and bad according to the qualities that he had acquired due to his association with material nature. Okay, so whatever is happening when material nature and Purusha unite, it is the effect and cause of that. Verse number 23 talks about Paramatma, Purusha, Kshetragya. So Purusha, Paramatma, Purusha is also Kshetragya, and individual living entity Purusha is also Kshetragya. So soul and super soul, these two are knower. The super soul exists within all bodies as the overseer, the permitter, and supreme proprietor. So Lord Krishna is supreme controller. He is supreme proprietor. He is the supreme manager. He is controlling everything, whether it is material energy or spiritual energy. All is managed by Krishna himself. Verse number 24 talks about the result. One who understands Prakriti, that is Kshetra, Purusha, that is Kshetragya. Kshetragya super soul and their interactions attains liberation and doesn't take birth again and again in this material world. The one who understands Kshetra and Kshetragya, he is liberated. Doesn't have to come in this material world again and again. No need to take up birth again and again on this hellish material world. Verse number 25-26 talks about other methods of obtaining liberation are Jnana, Ashtanga, and Karma. Okay, so these are the other methods which are used by yogi, jnanis, okay, and those who have the mystic powers, those who perform Ashtanga yoga, and Karma Kandi, those who prefer Vedas and use Vedas for their own desire fulfillment. Verse number 20. So verse number 20 talks about material nature and the living entities are eternal. Soul and super soul both are eternal. This body is going to be finished, but soul and super soul will be as it is. Why? And their relation also eternal. Okay, so we'll discuss what is about the nature and living entities. So what are the characteristics? Both living entity and material nature are eternal. They never die, they never take birth, they are eternal. Okay, material nature is eternal, although specific manifestations of matter are temporary. Material nature is eternal, soul is eternal, super soul is eternal. Whatever happens, it's totally independent. Living entity is eternal because of being Lord's superior energy. So there is a eternal relationship between living entity and Supreme Lord. So both are eternal. So soul and super eternal, living entity and Lord eternal. And their relationship is also eternal. Then what are the differences? In material nature, there is constant transformation, whereas the nature of living entity is non-changing. So material nature changes, but nature of living entity, material nature never changes, but the nature of living entity always happens change. Then what is the mystery of material creation? Material nature is absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu, and whenever required, it is manifested through the Mahat Tattva. So it is manifested through Mahat Tattva. So material nature, complete material nature is absorbed inside Supreme Lord Krishna. And whenever it is required, it is manifested again. So this manifestation and unmanifestation continues. The living entity also gets absorbed in Mahavishnu, and with the coming of the material nature, they are given a chance to prepare to go home back to Godhead. Okay, so living entities are given chance on this material world. They can perform austerities, penances, take the name of Lord, perform Harinam Sankirtan, and can get relief from the death and birth cycle. Why the eternal living entity falls down to material world? Because of their karma. Due to rebellious nature, I want to lord it over. I want to lord it over. Everyone wants to have lot of material energy. They want to accumulate money. They want to accumulate others' money also. So it is a greediness, because of which everything is destroyed. And they have to come in this material world again and again. It really does not matter how we came in contact with matter. The Supreme Lord knows how and why this took place. It is all depend on karma and Supreme Lord Krishna. So whatever we are having, it is because of my previous birth. And whatever we do after taking birth in this material world will be seen in the next life. Okay, so this birth and death cycle continues. What does the Lord focus on in the scriptures? The living entity attracted by material nature is undergoing a hard struggle for material existence. The one who comes into this material world has to survive. So for survival purpose, they do many material things. They do good things, they do also bad things. They don't think about their next birth, what will happen. Okay, so everyone should be conscious of their activity. When you are performing any activity, you should be Krishna consciousness. So in that Krishna consciousness, nothing bad will happen. Everything will be good. So if your consciousness is pure, your activity and the output of activity also pure, will be original. All transformations and influences of material nature by the three modes are productions of material nature. Okay, so this is all happens due to material nature. Whatever is happening is because of material nature. Why? Because material nature is constant. It never changes. Okay, but it is the cause of change. As far as spirit soul is concerned, living entities are all the same, and all transformations and varieties are due to the body. Okay, so body changes, soul never changes, super soul never changes, their relationship also never changes. So the thing which never changes is called as eternal over here. So we say that material nature and living entities are eternal. Their relationship is eternal. Verse number 21. कार्य कारण कर्तृत्वे हेतुः प्रकृतिर उच्यते पुरुषः सुख दुःखानां भोक्तृत्वे हेतुर उच्यते. So nature is said to be cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this material world. So nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, cause of happiness and distress, misidentification, and tendencies to enjoy. Why this suffering and happiness comes? Because this is the duality. In this material world, everything belongs to duality. And why this happens? Because of misidentification and tendency to enjoy. We have got a tendency to enjoy everything. We think that this is mine, this is my car, this is my wife, this is my daughter, this is my son, this is my building, my property, my home, my car. So everything is mine. So we want to enjoy. Whereas it all belongs to Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is supreme enjoyer and we are to be enjoyed. Karya karana kartritve hetuha prakritir ochyate. So material nature, Prakriti, is the cause of all material cause and effects. Purusa sukha dukkhanam bhoktritve hetur ochyate. Living entity undergoes happiness and distress. So due to tendency of enjoyment. Why? Because you want to enjoy. So you become part of duality. You enjoy today, everything is fine, and you suffer tomorrow because everything is not fine. It is not according to your wish. Okay, this happens. So this is the duality. So if you want to enjoy, if at all you want to enjoy in this material world, you are part of duality. Okay. So different manifestations and body and senses among living entities are due to material nature. Okay, and material world is a place of struggle, provides different residential quarters. So if you want to enjoy in this material world, you will be getting different residential quarters, means different bodies in different life. So in this human life, you can enjoy, and you have got a tendency of enjoyment. So in next body, you will get another species. It may be bird species, it may be the wild animal species, or it may be the worst species of human life, that like chandals and all. Okay, so if you have got a tendency of enjoying, you will be getting different residential quarter, that is body, to enjoy. Okay, so basis of 8.4 million species, they arise from different sensual pleasures and desires, because we have got tendency of enjoying. So God gives different body to enjoy, different bodies. So if you have got a habit of eating lot of meat in human life, so next life will be wild animals, those who eat only meat. You will be depend on only meat. Okay, so if you have got a body of human, have some kindness about the animals which you are eating. If you don't have, next body will be meat eater body. Lion, tiger, they only depend on the meat. They don't eat any chapati or roti and all these things, bread and all. So they eat only meat. So if you have got a body of human, don't eat meat. Follow 4 regulatory principles and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra as much as you can. Prabhupada has recommended 16 rounds, but whatever possible, more than 16 also you can do. Or if you in the beginning, you can start with 1 or 2 rounds, 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 18 rounds. Likewise, you can increase. Okay, so Prabhupada said that chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and be happy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So be different body result in different happiness and distress. Today you have got body of human, so you have intelligence. Animals don't have intelligence. You have intelligence. You can make your life better. And instead of just running behind money and enjoyment and material happiness, any material gain. So if you use this human body intelligently, you are relieved from 8.4 million species, and you will be relieved from the cycle of birth and death. Cause of being in the material world, desire to lord it over. Why? Because I want to lord. I am the lord of this property. I am the lord of my wife. I am the lord of my children. I am the lord of my car, my bike. So many things are there to lord it over. Spiritual world is pure and free from the desire to lord it over. Why? You are totally dependent on Krishna. When you are totally dependent on Krishna, Krishna will take you in Golok Vrindavan Dham, that is back to home, back to Godhead. So material world is a place of struggle, provides different residential quarters. Why? Well, because we have got a tendency of enjoy everything. Eat jalebi, enjoy. I want to enjoy. I want to enjoy my life. Going to movie. Okay? Going here and there. Wasting time. Spoiling the knowledge. Okay? So, everyone is struggling to acquire different kinds of pleasures from the body. So, we want to enjoy. We want to utilize our each body part in the enjoyment. Body is the effect of senses, and senses are the instrument for gratifying desire. Look, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. So, okay, so if you eat jalebi once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times, you may not wish to eat 101 times. But if you take Harinam, any number of times you take Harinam, you will never get bored. Boredom will never happen when you are taking Harinam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The living entity gets a body according to past desire and activity. This human form of life is best form of life. Even demigods wish to have human form of life. In this life, you can chant Hare Krishna Muhammad. You have intelligence. You can have material things and utilize in Krishna consciousness. Past desire and activity decide one's residential quarters. How much desire you have, how much enjoyment you have in next life will decide the next body. You want to eat more meat. Take the life of tiger. Take the life of jackals. Take the life of lion. Eat only meat. Law of nature, once a body is attained, one comes under the laws of nature and behave as a dog or a hog or a demigod, etc. If you want to go to Indra planet, worship Indra and attain the Indra planet. You want to have a body of dog, next body will be dog. You want to have a body of hog, next body will be hog. So hog only depends on stool. Okay, so very good graphical explanation given by Prabhupada about the hog, stool, and everything. Okay, so whatever you desire, accordingly you will get the next body. So if you do Harinam, you do Harinam Sankirtan, chant Hare Krishna Muhammad, follow the four regulative principles, next body will be, you will get close to God. You'll get a Vaishnava, you get a birth in a Vaishnava family, in a Brahmana family, where whatever punya you have accumulated in this life, you can start from there in the next life whenever you get birth in the Vaishnava and Brahmin family. And you can be liberated. You can go home back to Godhead. So, God is there. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Whatever endeavor you perform, accordingly you will get the next body. Accordingly you will get the fruits of action. Okay. So, Purusa sukha dukkhanam bhoktritve hetur uchyate. Living entity undergoes happiness and distress due to tendency of enjoyment. Today it is happening with me, this. It is happening with me, this. So it is because of your desire only. Nothing is new. You just think about your tendency of enjoyment. You want to enjoy, that's where you have. We have got tendency of enjoyment. We go movie every day. We go movie once in a week. We go to hotel to taste certain things. Okay, we are running behind for the satisfaction of our senses. And senses never satisfy. Whatever you do, whatever practice you do, whatever endeavor you do, everything is failed to satisfy the senses of gratification. So living entity is spiritual in nature, has nothing to do with the activities in the material world. So due to its tendency to lord over the material world, it identifies with the activities in the material world, thus experiences happiness and distress. Happiness is happiness, but whenever distress comes, it is God, oh God, it is happening because of you. It is because you don't care about me. I am very hardworking. I always run behind the sense gratification. Oh fool, if you are running behind sense gratification, how can you get always happiness? You are running behind happiness itself is a duality. You will get happiness sometimes and sometimes distress also. Be ready for that. So super soul always accompanies the soul in all circumstances, in all bodies, given in Mundaka Upanishad. Okay, so super soul is the permitter, overseer of the, and keeps an eye on soul. What soul is doing? Soul is for enjoyment, and super soul is for fulfilling those enjoyments. You want this? Take it. But whenever you are going to do something harm, some bad, super soul also give instruction by don't do this. This is bad. This is not good. But soul doesn't listen to super soul because it is so absorbed in the sense enjoyment. It has got a habit of enjoyment because of this body. Because of this body, it has got attachment with the body. Soul is attached with the body. So although we say soul and super soul are eternal, but soul is attached to the body. So when soul leaves the particular body, soul never want to leave the body. But after death, when it gets old because of disease, gets death, soul has to leave the body. But soul doesn't want to leave the body because it has also got a habit of enjoyment because of the body. So body runs behind the sense enjoyment. Soul is there inside. So soul, because soul has got attachment with the body, that's why soul don't want to leave this body. Okay. So this is the cause of happiness and distress is misidentification and tendency to enjoy. This is the root cause of happiness and distress or any kind of duality. Okay. That is verse number 21. Verse number 22. Purusa prakristho hi bhungte prakritijan gunam karanam guna sangosya sada asadayo nijanmashu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the wage of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. Okay? Why? Because this body has got tendency of enjoyment. Always wants to enjoy. Always wants to go movie. Always wants to go outing. Here and there, material places. Because of this, desire to enjoy forges the bond between Purusha and Prakriti. Because of ignorance, it happens. Soul knows the Purusha and Prakriti, the bond between Purusha and Prakriti. But because of this enjoyment tendency, forgets the bond. So living entity follows the way of life according to three modes of material nature, that is satogun, rajogun, tamogun, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Even if you are in satogun, you perform certain things and you have some material desire. I am performing this sacrifice, and you have back of your mind, I want to have this, I want to earn this much profit, I want to have some honor. So you have expectation. So wherever you have expectation, there is no guarantee that you will get all time happy, happy, happy. Sometimes there will be unhappiness also. So this is material nature. And passion, rajogun, those who are running behind certain things. I want to have lot of money, running behind money. Whatever happens, I want to have money. This desire you don't have for God. I want to have God, whatever happens. So this is the proper utilization of passion. Passion for Krishna. Okay, so passion for Krishna, chanting Harinam, passion for Harinam, passion for Harinam Sankirtan, passion for Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I will chant 1 round, I will chant 2 rounds, I will chant 10, 20, 100 rounds. Utilize your passion over there. Forget everything, ignorance, forget everything. So ignorance, one is ignoring Lord. But actually in ignorance, ignore everything except Lord. Okay, so that is the proper utilization of ignorance, proper utilization of passion, passion for Krishna. Ignore everything except Krishna. Perform devotional service for Krishna, Satogun. So if he performs devotional service for Krishna consciousness, 101% you will achieve satisfaction. So in Krishna consciousness, satisfaction is there. In material world, there is no satisfaction. You get 100 rupees today, you want to have more 100 rupees. Okay, but do you have that desire? I want to chant more rounds Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is not difficult, but we don't, because we have got tendency of enjoyment. Association with material nature leads to different good and evil among various states. If you desire good, if your will is good, you will get good body. You perform certain penances, austerities, you will get good body. Good body like a birth in a Brahmana family. More than that, in a Vaishnava family, where you can perform sacrifices, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Entire family will be chanting, and entire family will go to back to home, back to Godhead, Golok Vrindavan Dham. Okay, so text number 22 talks about desire to enjoy forges the bond between Purusa and Prakriti. Okay, we know the relationship between God and living entity, but we ignore it. Why? Because we are running behind sense gratification and we forget what is the purpose of having this human form of life. And once you forget the purpose of this human form of life, you are just wandering here and there, and you are getting different residential quarters, life after life. 8.4 million species. Out of that, many form of human life, right from human form of life to chandals. Then many form of birds, many form of wild animals, many form of aquatic. Okay, so all the form of jalchar, thalchar, so many species are there. according to your desire, sense gratification in the previous life, you get the next body. So next body is totally dependent on previous body, previous desire. That is so desire to enjoy forges the bond between Purusha and Prakriti. What is the binding factor to different bodies? Association with three modes. You are associated with three modes of material nature. Whatever activity you perform, whatever karma you perform, it is affected by Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. These are the three modes of material nature. Whatever you think, whatever you perform, belongs to three modes of material nature. In all cases, one thinks himself to be the master of his circumstance. I have created, I have accumulated, I have bought, I am the owner. So this is the desire, this is the will. Second, how Krishna consciousness helps? Krishna consciousness helps one to rise above the three modes of material nature and become transcendental. Okay? We have got birth in this human form of life. We have been thrown in this material world in a very, very rare human form of life. Even demigods wish to have human form of life. Why? The demigods wants to have human form of life so that they can perform different austerities, penances, devotional service. And when Krishna comes himself onto this material world, they can see personally. Okay, so if you perform Krishna consciousness, you will be performing same activity, but there will be no attachment. It will be free of three modes of material nature. If you are performing normal activities, it will belong to three modes of material nature. But if you are performing same activity with Krishna consciousness, it will be free from desire, free from fruits of action. So it becomes karma yoga, not karma kand. So how these changes can be effected? By hearing from authoritative sources. You have to tadvidhi pranipatena. You have to hear from gurus, acharyas, those who belong to parampara. So the job of acharyas to add you in the parampara. Because of without their permission, you cannot add yourself to the parampara. So gurus are means to add to the parampara. How hearing works? If living entity submits to hearing process, he loses his long cherished desire to dominate gradually and proportionately he comes to enjoy spiritual happiness. So hearing is very, very effective instrument. You have to hear Krishna Katha, hear Acharya, Guru, spiritual Guru. So by hearing only, Krishna enters inside your heart through your ear. So these are all instruments. There are 9 processes, 9 long processes of devotional service. So out of that, first is and foremost important, hearing process. If you hear, it will clear your heart from all the demonic thoughts. So reference Vedic mantra as one becomes learned in association with Supreme personality of Godhead, he proportionately releases eternal blissful life. So if you live with Krishna, you will live blissful life. Why? Because this bliss, Krishna is blissful. If Krishna is blissful, you worship Krishna, you will also become blissful. It is like if any powder, if you are mixing with water, it will be mixed. You cannot see that powder. And if you worship Krishna, you will be mixed with Krishna. You will become, Krishna is blissful, you will also become blissful. You can enjoy the transcendental life. You can attain the eternal relationship with Krishna. How a living entity transmigrates from one body to another? Transformation is compared to a change of dress. It is rightly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 2.22. Okay, so when your garment is not proper, what do? You remove it and you wear new one. Similarly, when this body gets old, soul leaves the body and gets another body. And next body is dependent on the previous desire, previous karma. So changes of dress is due to attachment to material existence. If you are attached to material, you will be in material life. If you are attached to Krishna, you will go to Golok Vrindavan Dham, back home, back to Godhead. So desire to lord over, put him in undesirable circumstance. You desire to lord over, you will be in undesirable circumstance. So sometimes born as demigod, or human, or beast, or bird, or bug, or dog, or hawk, so many species of life. It is according to your desire. Okay. So we'll stop over here. Thank you. Any question you can ask? श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण।